Social Security. These myths are costing you money. Let me hit you with something that sounds impossible. 55% of Americans, more than half the country, believe Social Security. Full retirement age is 65. And that number hasn't been accurate since 2002. If you're building your retirement plan around it, you could be locking in a permanent benefit cut of up to 30% for the rest of your life. That figure comes straight from the Allianz Life 2025 Retirement Street UD, which means over half of working Americans are about to make one of the biggest financial decisions of their lives, based on a number that has been wrong for more than 2 decades. And that is just one of the myths floating around out there. Today, we're re-walking through the 10 biggest Social Security lies Americans still believe in 2026. The ones that quietly drain bank accounts, blow up retirement plans, and hand the IRS money you never needed to give them. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to know more about Social Security than 90% of the people drawing checks. Right now, the biggest myth of all is the one that absolutely refuses to die. The headline that gets recycled every single year. People keep insisting that Social Security is running out of money. And I want you to hear this clearly, because the truth matters here. Social Security is not going broke. According to the 2025 Trustees Report, the combined trust fund currently sits on a surplus of $2.72 trillion, and that fund is projected to be depleted somewhere around 2034. But here is the thing. Nobody bothers to explain on cable news. Even if Congress does absolutely nothing, sits on their hands, takes a nap, ignores the problem entirely, Social Security still pays out 81% of scheduled benefits from ongoing payroll taxes coming in the door. That is not zero. That is not broke. That is a funding gap. The Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget calls this exactly what it is: a real shortfall that needs real fixes. And I am not minimizing the pain a 19% cut would cause. But broke and needs a fix are two completely different things, which means you shouldn't let panic push you into claiming early. That is exactly how regular people leave 6 figures on the table. Back to that retirement age, because this one matters more than almost anything else in this video. If you were born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is 67, not 65, not 66, a flat 67. This shift happened back in 1983 when Reagan signed the Social Security amendments, and the increase phased in gradually over 33 years until it landed where it is today. Here is why this matters in real dollars. Every month you claim before your full retirement, age locks in a permanent reduction. So claiming at 62 means accepting roughly a 30% cut for life. Delay all the way to 70 instead of grabbing it at 62. And your monthly check climbs about 76% higher forever. The maximum benefit numbers for 2026 tell the whole story. With $2,969 a month, if you claim at 62, $4,152 at full retirement age, and an even bigger figure waiting at 70, same person, same work history, same earnings record, but the timing creates a swing of more than $1,200 every single month. Myth number 3 is the cost of living adjustment, the COLA, and the belief that it is guaranteed every year. It is not. The COLA gets tied to a specific inflation index called the CPIW, which means if inflation doesn't show up in the third quarter numbers, you receive nothing, zero, no raise at all. That has happened 3 times since the current formula kicked in, specifically 2010, 2011, and 2016, with no increase whatsoever. For 2026, you are getting a 2.8% COLA, which is the bump that hits your check starting in January. But understand what that really is, because it is not a gift from Congress. It is a math equation. And if inflation cools down, that same equation can come back as nothing at all. Myth 4 drives me a little crazy because it gets shared on Facebook every 6 months without fail. The claim that members of Congress don't pay into Social Security. Yes, they do. And they have been since the 1st of January 1984, paying the same 6.2% out of every paycheck, just like you and me. This is one of those zombie myths that just won't die. So the next time your uncle posts it at Thanksgiving, you've got the receipts ready to go. Myth 5 is the claim that the government raids Social Security to pay for other programs. And here is what is actually happening behind the curtain. Social Security's tax revenue gets invested by law in special US Treasury bonds, which means the federal government uses that money the same way it uses money from any bondholder and then pays it back with interest. In 2024 alone, Social Security earned $69.1 billion in interest on those holdings. None of that fits the definition of theft. It is just a bond, the same kind of thing your 401k probably owns at this very moment. Myth 6 wades into politically charged territory. So I'm going to give you the numbers straight, and you can decide what to do with them. The popular claim is that undocumented immigrants are draining Social Security. But the reality, according to a July 2024 report from the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy, a non-partisan group, shows undocumented workers paid $25.7 billion into Social Security in 2022 alone. The kicker that nobody mentions is that they can't collect benefits, which means they're paying in and getting nothing out. Whatever your politics happen to be, The math is the math. Myth 7 trips up even smart, financially savvy people. The belief that Social Security functions like a personal savings account with your name on it. The government is holding your money in a personal locker, waiting for you to turn 67. Your payroll taxes today are paying somebody's grandma's check today. And when your turn comes, the next generation pays yours, which is exactly how the system has worked since 1935. Pay as you go is the model, always has been, and your benefit isn't based on what you paid in, but on your 35 highest earning years, adjusted for inflation. That is the reason two people who contributed similar amounts can walk away with very different checks. According to Urban Institute analysis, most Americans actually pull back more from Social Security and Medicare combined than they ever paid in over their lifetime, which means that I'll never see a dime of my money complaint. Statistically, it doesn't hold up either. Myth 8 is the assumption that Social Security benefits don't get taxed, which used to be true, but hasn't been the case since 1984. Up to 85% of your benefit can be taxed at the federal level, depending on your income, and the thresholds are worth writing down. A single filer with income between $25,000 and $34,000 will see up to 50% of benefits taxable, and anything above $34,000 pushes you into the 85% bracket. Married filing jointly works the same way, with $32,000 to $44,000 triggering the 50% tier, and higher incomes hitting the 85% ceiling. Something most retirees never realize is that 9 states still tax Social Security in 2025, specifically Colorado, Connecticut, Minnesota, Montana, New Mexico, Rhode Island, Vermont, Utah, and West Virginia. When you're deciding where to retire, that list might matter more than the weather. Myth 9 is critical for anyone who has been through a divorce. The worry that an ex-spouse claiming benefits on your record will shrink your own check. Your benefit doesn't move by a single dollar. If you were married at least 10 years, your ex can collect up to 50% of your benefit at their full retirement age, and you'll never even know it is happening, even with multiple ex-spouses claiming on your record. Your monthly amount stays completely untouched, which makes this one of the most underused tools in retirement planning. Anyone divorced after a decade or more of marriage should pull up their options immediately. Myth 10 is the fear that working while collecting Social Security wipes out your benefits forever. And the truth is half right and half wrong. Claim before full retirement age while still pulling a paycheck. And there is an earnings limit at $24,480 in 2026, with Social Security holding back $1 for every 2 you earn above it. Here is the part nobody bothers to mention, though. That money isn't gone once you hit full retirement age. Social Security recalculates your benefit and pays it back over time through a higher monthly check, which means the reductions are temporary, even though the fear feels permanent. Don't let it stop you from working, if working is what you want. So here is where we land. After walking through all of it, Social Security is T-broke. The retirement age is T65. Members of Congress pay in. The trust fund isn't getting raided. Immigrants are net contributors. Your benefit isn't a savings account. Taxes apply, spousal claims don't hurt you, and working doesn't kill your check. 10 myths, 10 misconceptions that quietly cost Americans real money every single year. My honest take is this: Social Security is the single most important retirement program in the United States, with 73 million people depending on it, and for 2 out of every 5 Americans over 65, those checks make up the majority of their income. You can't afford to plan your retirement based on Facebook memes and your neighbor's bad advice. Run your own numbers. Pull your statement directly from SSA.gov and look up your real full retirement age, the actual one tied to your birth year. If you're within 5 years of claiming, talk to somebody who actually knows the rules inside and out. The gap between knowing this material and not knowing it isn't a few bucks here and there. We're talking about tens of thousands of dollars over the length of a retirement. If this cleared things up for you, drop a comment letting me know which myth caught you most off guard, because I read all of them. I'll see you in the next one.